What is cosplay? Cosplay is the art of dressing up as your favorite character, be it from a comic book or a film. Derived from the words costume and play, it is a hobby that is ever increasing in popularity. We asked cosplayers to take us through the process, from fabric to finish.
It's fun. Cosplay's fun. It's challenging to try and build the things and get something that looks impressive.
We said, let's meet up at London, let's all come together and finally get a picture of the whole crew.
I spend my time working on cosplay specifically for expo events and things like that.
It's just mostly just fun.
And the atmosphere is very different. When people are cosplaying, there's a lot of solidarity.
Society, people are like, oh, that looks really cool, and they just start a conversation with you.
That was ridiculous. That was animatronics, that was like metal work, that was, again, embroidery, weathering, prosthetics. To the point where,
I'm Viola. I go to the University of Lincoln doing biomedical science, and I've cosplayed since about May of this year. I'm Deanna. I also go to the University of Lincoln, but I study a Master's in Clinical Animal Behaviour, which I'll be finishing in like a few weeks' time. I've been cosplaying for about 3 years now. I cosplay as like generally any sort of characters that I'm really interested in, that I really like, or ones that I really relate to. So generally I choose characters from anime because I generally watch anime. It's just kind of like watching anime and like other stuff, like comics and stuff, just like, oh, that could be a cosplay idea, kind of just working off that. Overall, I would spend my time working on cosplay specifically for expo events and things like that. I just sort of get an idea. It's just kind of because you're putting all the effort into making something that at the end of the day, or at the end of whenever you get to wear, it's just kind of it's quite a big achievement kind of thing. And it's a lot of enjoyment and fun as well. Like it's like a big hobby for a lot of people. So we generally enjoy it for the fun of like doing something else within our day, or having that extra experience that's not like our everyday life of going to work or doing like college or uni or things like that. So my first cosplay was Violet from The Incredibles, just because I had to make a superhero outfit for another event, not for cosplay. And then it's just because she's got black hair, I've got black hair, kind of. And then I wore it again for May. Yeah, mine was a bit more of an obscure character. Her name was Toa Erio. She's from an anime called Denpa Onna Dosation Otoko, I think that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, I chose her generally because I just liked the weirdness of her character, generally, and it was a simple cosplay to do as well. Like, I made half of it, and then, because it was sort of a school uniform sort of thing, I just sort of brought a shirt to
wear with it, and made the skirt myself. And it was my first time actually getting hands-on with cosplay.
For me, cosplay is dress up, but it's just kind of a little bit different. Like, some people will act like the characters, but I don't generally, because it is quite difficult to be in character because it's, for example, in Expo. So it's quite a long event, and...
Yeah, I'm generally the same. I believe there's really a fine line, and it depends on who you talk to how they define the two.
I'm Mimi Isley, and
I'm Laura O'Brien. Cosplay definitely brought us together because I was in cosplay when Mimi noticed me and came over and talked to me, and I was very lonely that evening. So if she hadn't come over, then I wouldn't have met you and most other people, actually, because then she started making me talk to other people.
Have you followed the character's costume faithfully, or added your own touch? And why?
It depends, because for cosplay I'm making, I've drawn out the design a few times, but like it's really difficult to stick to the design, because when you have it on paper, it looks so much easier. But when we've actually got something, it's like, oh, this doesn't actually work. There is the whole fabric is heavy, it doesn't really stay up kind of thing. But otherwise, you just kind of go with what you've got in your head.
It depends on the character for me. Like, some of them that are more complicated, I break it down, and I break it down into their different parts, and I'll work on each individual part of the costume. But other times I just generally just get my fabric and just start cutting and sewing, because I start getting more creative with it that way, and I sort of learn through trial and error on my part of how things are best put together and the best way to sew things as well. I have made many mistakes in the past, but I've learnt from them, so.
It was meant to be like a kimono based, but with a circle skirt, so I'm just going to draw the rough body here. Ignoring the fact that my anatomy is totally wrong here. I'm having one arm out, so you kind of know. But imagine that is fur. Because we were trying to go for like a traditional kind of kimono thing. With like petticoats. But it was also like a lot of, with like a lot of fur and kind of crazy look. That was kind of my rough idea, to make a flying cosplay with like a huge tail and an obi and a circle skirt. Like, it's not traditional. It's not a traditional kimono look. Like, for example, the obi is a lot smaller and the dress is not as long as a traditional kimono. It's not even straight. But I wanted to take some aspects like the collar and have fur outlining it, and have the ears quite furry, and the back of it as well to have a huge tail. In the same way, I wanted to use black and red and have the two colours kind of clashing a little bit, because it's meant to be a fire type Pokemon. It's meant to be kind of like a bright Pokemon. So this was my idea for it in a very strange way.
MCM London Comic Con is the largest convention in the UK. It attracts fans from around the world and is the perfect environment to cosplay in. Who are you cosplaying as and why?
I'm Oliver. I'm a cosplayer from the northwest of England. I'm cosplaying Malcolm Reynolds from the TV series Firefly. Probably leads far too much into my own personality. I like feeling a bit captain-y. I like the brown coats. and I adore Nathan Fillion as an actor, so I've got a number of cosplays from the same actor. Dr. Horrible, working on Edward Buck from the Halo series, and yeah, working my way through the list.
I'm Morna and I'm dressed as Zatanna.
I'm Dave and I'm Mr. Freeze. It's fun. Cosplay's fun. It's challenging to try and build the things and get something that looks impressive, and I enjoy the challenge of it mostly.
I've been learning how to make everything from scratch, and it's really enjoying it. I'm learning so much, and that's a lot of the appeal. Just getting to extend your skill base.
My name's Lewis Collins and I'm cosplaying as Lich King from World of Warcraft. Well, to be honest, I only started 6 months ago. This was my first one, and it was mainly because of my girlfriend. She went to the convention, then she told me about the costumes, and I've always painted small models, so I thought might as well just to scale it up.
But making costumes and dressing up is not the only appeal. We asked MCM goers about the friendships they have made through cosplaying.
I've made some friends online through the Expo group on Facebook.
Yeah, I do know some people who have, though, met people at expos and sort of made friends with them, and they're actually quite close to them.
Loads of friends doing cosplay. Like, some of my best friends I've made through cosplay.
I also have participated in Euro Cosplay here and also the WCS and stuff. And you make so many new friends, and if you want to travel, all these friends are like, oh, if you need a place, you can crash at my place. So you also save money for hotels and stuff. So you can go everywhere and meet everyone just while you go on holiday or just getting invited for a convention. So that's really magical what you can do with other cosplayers from everywhere.
I'm cosplaying Malcolm Reynolds from the TV series Firefly, also from the movie Serenity. Right, the group was set up by Laura, who's one of our Kayleys, and she put a group together on Facebook. We all got together, shared an interest, we're all putting cosplays together at different levels. So we said, let's meet up at London, let's all come together and finally get a picture of the whole crew. Because we've been year after year, we'll find a Mal, we'll find a Kayley, but it's nice to have the whole ship together. So today we managed to get everyone, and we ran around with a big flag and we rallied everyone together. And it made a difference, because we're all here for a change.
How many conventions have you been to so far?
I've been to a few recently. We went to Kendall Comic Art, which isn't really a convention in that sense. I've recently been to Preston as well, two very much smaller ones. Far few people cosplay there, and the atmosphere is very different. When people are cosplaying, there's a lot of solidarity. People will help each other fix their costumes. You get people complimenting each other. Everyone wants photographs of one another. It's a lovely atmosphere, and when everyone's cosplaying, you're in it together. So I think it really improves the environment.
How do you know each other?
Again, mainly through the Facebook group. Laura's lot with the other Mal, I think know each other slightly better. They've got most of the crew. And then we've got a few who found each other on the Facebook group, and we've rallied a few more from just wandering around the halls today, finding other Kayleys. We've got so many Kayleys and Janes.
How did you meet?
I think there's a couple who know each other before. My partner's here, she's Inara. And apart from that, we're all either internet or meeting up on the day.
How would you describe the cosplay community?
The community, wild, inventive, creative, very supportive, and yeah, I think you can't really overstate the inventive. Every year I see something new, I see something brilliant. Someone will have made armor that's 8 feet tall, or even just some sort of innate hairpiece. It doesn't matter. If you can get some glue and some tape and some fabric and put something together, do it. Just cosplay, because it's all manner of fun.
How often do you cosplay?
Yeah, individually, probably 4 or 5 times a year. There's 2 chances in London, 2 chances in Manchester, and then there's lots of other smaller ones. So recently I've done Newcastle and Preston, which I very much enjoyed. It's a nice environment, less cosplayers, but the people who are there, you can talk to them more. You've got a chance to sit down with people and get to know them a bit better. And the rest of the group, I know we've got Zoe, it's her very first time. Her partner's here, he's been once before, so you can always get more people involved.
We caught up with Deanna and Viola at MCM to see how their cosplays were affecting their experience at Comic-Con.
cosplaying Sylveon from Pokemon.
No, I'm cosplaying Leafeon from Pokemon. I feel that cosplay affects the experience by allowing you to interact more with other people. Like, it sort of gives you a commonality with other people who recognise your character and they come up to you and they talk to you or they ask for photos. And if you're not in cosplay, you generally don't really get that, I feel.
Yeah, and it's nice to see when people have dressed up as characters from like the same thing, or they just like simply recognise you. It's like, oh, that looks really good. And, like, I've had people just like call out my character. I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but that's really cool. We've had a lot of photos taken of us already, and
yeah, it's all been really positive. Like, everybody's like really enjoyed our costumes, and like I actually enjoyed seeing other people's costumes. And there was one person that was a bit worried because she was like, I didn't think anyone would recognise me. And she was like, I was going to ask if we could swap Pokemon. And I was like, no, I recognise you, it's fine. Well, I chose the character specifically because I like Eevee. And Eevee evolves into like different types of Pokemon. And I thought it'd be a great idea to get a group of people together to cosplay each evolution. And I think we've got about, how many? 6 of us in total? 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
I lose count sometimes. To actually cosplay a range of different evolutions, and I just thought it'd be fun to like walk around Expo as a big group, and it's turned out to be quite an amazing experience.
For some people, cosplay becomes more than a hobby. Their craftsmanship, authenticity to character, and performance are put to the test as they represent their countries at Euro Cosplay.
Will Poland successfully defend it or not? That is the question. We have so many fantastic costumes seen here live at MCM London Comic Con, and let's roll that first intro video and see which country is stepping up to the challenge first.
Аз съм Вени и съм от България. Тази година бях представител на България за Euro Cosplay и в момента косплеywам тим от League of Legends. Ами, сценичното ми име Пърси Джаксън идва от филма Пърси Джаксън. И някакъв микс от букви, просто така се получи. Косплей сцената в България бих казала, че е доста може би голяма, за разлика от евента. Тук евентът е доста по-голям, за разлика от сцената. Но пък организацията е доста хубава и много ми харесва обстановката. Ами, Euro Cosplay наистина могат да се постараят още и виждам, че ужасно много се развива, което много ми харесва. Тази година костюмите бяха изключително добри, за разлика от миналата година. Доста ми харесва. Хората са изключително топли, много приятни, много френдли. Вчера косплейвах Сакура Химе от Tsubasa Chronicles. Избрах този персонаж, защото много отговаря на моята същност. Също така сме родени в един месец и сме една зодия. Ужасно много харесвам анимето и цялата вселена на Клямп, защото те са наистина невероятни. Ужасно много ми харесва, просто това е един от любимите им персонажи и трябваше да го направя.
How long have you been cosplaying?
Ами, общо взето се занимавам с косплей от 4 години. Започна се, разбира се, отидох на един евент, там работех с жалост, но ужасно много ми хареса, че видях любимите си герои от аниме, пресъздадени по този начин. И наистина много се надъхнах. След това ме поканиха в група, понеже в България, за разлика от тук, ние имаме нещо като театър, което правим. И бях поканена на това, беше ужасно яко, запознах се с много хора, много ми хареса. И след това реших да се занимавам малко по-сериозно с тези неща. И така се случи, че спечелих Euro Cosplay и дойдох тук за представител на България.
Have you been on stage before?
Ами, явявала съм се много пъти на сцена, но винаги имах сценична треска. За жалост, всъщност това е една от причините, поради които започнах да косплейвам, за да мога да преодолея тази сценична треска. Понякога се получава, но общо взето ужасно много зависи от хората около мен, които ме обкръжават преди сцената. И както казах, тук хората са ужасно топли и аз въобще не се притеснявах. И беше супер яко.
How many languages do you know?
Достатъчно е да знаеш английски, защото той е, така да се каже, общо, не знам как да го нарека език, но английски е достатъчен, но е задължително той да е на едно средно ниво, което да може да се разбира с останалите. Бих казала, че хората се пречупват в един момент и да не разбират английски, вие си обяснявате нещата и се получава много по-забавно, което ги смутява.
My name's Lewis Collins and I'm cosplaying as Lich King from World of Warcraft. Euro Cosplay is hosted every year. There's 2 events. There's one in May and one in October, and normally there's a contestant chosen from each one, and then they represent their country in the Euro Cosplay in England.
Have you had any previous stage appearances?
No, not at all. I mean, I've always loved the idea of performing. I've never actually done it personally though, so it was a good opportunity to give it a go.
The qualifier of the Euro Cosplay, and it's always a good way to meet up with other people, with other cosplayers from different countries, and just have kind of get together and...
In your words, how would you describe cosplay?
Cosplay is something that can help you in the sense that it's very sociable. I know a lot of people who are very shy and uncertain, and thanks to cosplay they actually gain a lot of more self-esteem and have friendship, gain friendships. Sometimes the friendships can be that great, even border crossing, like this is from Belgium, from Netherlands, I'm from Belgium, and he's from Slovakia. It's something, you're fan or something, you're trying to represent your fandom, and throughout that experience you learn how to bend and use materials, but you gain friendships, you learn new things, because if you're even going to other countries, you see that there are differences. Even the neighborhood countries, every convention has their own style. Even the mentality of the people can be different. So it's actually, it goes further than just, I'm collecting stamps. This is more intensive, but also very rewarding.
I definitely class cosplay as an art form, especially with people who make like these really extravagant armor outfits. I'd say any really, but I find awe in the armor ones especially because the amount of effort that they take. And yeah, it's just like painting a picture. It takes a very long time, and so does cosplay. So I definitely class it as an art form. It's creative output.
I got into cosplay from stumbling across a cosplayer when I was looking up a comic I was interested in online and finding the character from that as a cosplay. and I started following that person, and then slowly realised there was more and more people doing it, and there's an entire social group doing that thing. Basically just followed on from there over about 8 years, becoming more and more interested in it, until now I'm actually wearing cosplay.
So we said, let's meet up at London, let's all come together and finally get a picture of the whole crew. Because we've been year after year, we'll find a Mal, we'll find a Kaylee, but it's nice to have the whole ship together.
I think no matter how long you've been doing cosplay, you're always learning something new with it, and people always have like new ideas and different ways of doing things that you sort of learn from them as well. So it's something you just generally continuously grow with when you're making.
I'd definitely say it's an art form just because of the amount of time, the effort, and the fact that you're doing essentially, because if you watch movies and stuff, they have loads of people doing multiple things, you know, for multiple things, but you're just one person doing all of those things for one costume. It is an art form in that sense because you just kind of have to do everything that a lot of people would have had to do and make something beautiful out of it.
It is clear that cosplay is a popular hobby that people can invest their time and effort into. It is an outlet for creativity and a fuel for friendship. Cosplay is both an art form and an enjoyable pastime, from fabric to finish.
Okay, everyone wave at the camera.
We're Jones the Cat Production!